George Stephanopoulos' wife, Ali Wentworth, has recently revealed an annoying habit of the Good Morning America host that fans rarely see. While co-hosting Live with Kelly and Ryan, Ali spilled some tea about her husband during a fun and candid exchange. She filled in for Kelly Ripa on Wednesday, March 29, and discussed several topics with Ryan Seacrest. One of the things Ryan asked her about was whether she or her husband George snores, and Ali confirmed that George is indeed a snorer. "George Stephanopoulos snores," Ali said, to which Ryan jokingly asked if he sounded like a drunk old truck driver. Ali nodded and humorously confirmed, "Yes." Ryan then asked how she handles the snoring, and Ali's response was both funny and relatable. "First, I have to breathe because I'm so full of rage," she joked, before adding, "and if it's really bad, I push him. I turn him." She further explained that if the snoring continues, she'll go sleep in her older daughter's room, but George then wakes her up and makes her come back to bed. "Then he comes down and wakes me up and makes me go back to bed," Ali said, emphasizing her frustration. She added this all with a smile, explaining that sleep is crucial for someone with her kind of job. After their lighthearted exchange, Ryan shared tips for dealing with snoring, such as drinking more water, taking baths before bed, and cutting back on alcohol in the evening. Despite all of Ali's playful comments, she did admit that getting enough sleep is essential, particularly when you have a demanding job like hers. The conversation took a humorous turn when Ryan read aloud some of the tips for alleviating snoring, but it was clear that George's snoring remains a big issue in their household. The subject of Ali's hosting gig had also come up earlier on Good Morning America. George Stephanopoulos admitted that he was nervous about what his wife might reveal during her time as a co-host. When speaking with Ryan Seacrest on GMA, George confessed, "I'm concerned about the after-hour stories Ali will tell." He also joked about how he knew she would probably share behind-the-scenes details of their lives. "I usually work out after presenting GMA," he said, adding, "I don't always see it, but my phone starts to buzz because I know she's told some story about me." Ali's candidness about her relationship with George has become a staple of her public persona. She doesn't shy away from discussing personal details of their lives. During her appearance on Live with Kelly and Ryan, she even shared a funny anecdote about their sex life. Ali was commenting on a couple who saved their marriage by making out more, and she joked, "There's no way I could make out with my husband without him wanting to go further. You know what I mean," she said, throwing her hands up in the air. Ryan couldn't help but laugh along with her, and the audience enjoyed the candid moment. This wasn't the first time Ali had made light of her relationship with George. Back in January, she called out her husband during an unfiltered interview with Jimmy Kimmel. She recalled a humorous and somewhat frustrating moment when she was in labor with their first child, Harper. Ali shared that George, instead of pulling into the emergency parking at the hospital, insisted on parking further away because he didn't think it was an emergency. She joked about George's demeanor in the delivery room too, recalling that when George was handed the scissors to cut the umbilical cord, he turned pale and felt faint. "I have a baby hanging out of my vagina, and I'm like, hi," Ali said, making the audience laugh. In her usual candid and humorous way, Ali shared the challenges of being married to someone famous. "Here's the problem with being married to somebody who's famous," she said, recalling how George needed extra attention while she was in labor. "They give him the scissors to cut the umbilical cord, and I see George get like gray in the face. And then, all of a sudden, the nurse, the doctor, everybody goes to George and they're like, 'Are you okay?' she said. Meanwhile, I'm the one giving birth and I'm like, 'Hi. Can I get some attention too?'" Despite the humorous stories and occasional frustrations, it's clear that Ali and George share a strong bond and an open, humorous relationship. They aren't afraid to poke fun at each other in public, and their fans appreciate the realness and laughter they bring to their interactions. With her sharp wit and no-holds-barred approach to discussing her personal life, Ali Wentworth continues to be a favorite among fans, offering a glimpse into her marriage to George Stephanopoulos that is both relatable and hilarious.